Patreon Q&A 166. There's going to be spoilers for all of the series that I'm going to be talking about, so tread carefully. Samurai wants me to rank the S-Class heroes in order of how strong I think they are. And I haven't done this in a while, so let's do it. We got 17 heroes, so we're going to start at number 17. And there I have Tank Top Master. Doesn't mean he's strong. They're all strong in their own ways, but somebody has to be last. And it's him. But his time in the manga will eventually come. 16, Puri Puri Prisoner. Like Samurai points out here, he was fast enough to react to Platinum S by jumping in front of Genos, Tatsumaki, and Child Emperor. So that's pretty impressive, and he was able to fight against a dragon in Neon. Yeah, it had some special circumstances, but he was still able to do it. Number 15, I have Pig God. He was able to fight a dragon too, but a little more cleanly than Puri, and I think he would probably beat Puri if they fought. Number 14, Metal Bat. Kind of hard to really place him because he still hasn't really done anything yet. Or anything substantial. I'm assuming one must have something big planned for him, like maybe he'll show some serious potential, like possibly even like God level strength, and then he passes out or something like that, because otherwise it just seems like he's about to be set up to just job to awaken Garo. Number 13, Watchdog Man. I have him here because, you know, he beat Garo and Metal Bat didn't. But other than that, he's pretty mysterious, but, you know, still pretty strong. One day, I'm sure we'll see him do something again. 12, Zombie Man. Homeless Emperor was really strong in the manga, so it's pretty impressive what Zombie Man was able to do against him. And granted, he had some plot intervention and was able to take a break, just like Luffy in One Piece, but he came back and finished the job, which makes me think that maybe he could have defeated Carnage Kabuto. I don't know about Carnage mode, but maybe the VGS wasn't completely off of what reality would have been, maybe. Number 11, Child Emperor. He defeated a dragon cleanly, so, I mean, he doesn't have the Millennium Emperor Nova anymore, but I'm sure he'll get it again eventually. 10, Darkshine. I mean, clearly, like last year and before, I was holding him in much higher regard, but his stock has dropped a lot this year. Got destroyed by Vomited for Ugly, who wound up getting destroyed by Golden S, and he's not even a big deal anymore. He's kind of like replaced Multi-S. So on top of Darkshine's insecurities and mental blocks, not really looking good for him right now on the power scale. It's kind of making me rethink what even High Dragon is anymore, let alone Above Dragon, which is getting retconned. Number 9, Genos, and this is mainly just for like his 10-second mode. Clashing with Sairochi, way more substantial than pretty much anything else ranked beneath him has done. Number 8, Atomic Samurai. He's gotten a major buff here, and now that he has the Sun Blade or the Moon Blade, what is he at? I think it's the Sun Blade. He like lopped off Golden S's arm, which is a crazy feat, especially since what he did to Vomit If You're Ugly. Granted, he was like possessed by it, but I just think this is only the beginning of Atomic's possible eventual power creep. Number 7, Silverfang. It's not so much that he's dropped in stock, but more so that I maybe have realized more so his place in the manga. I mean, he's still one of the strongest and one of the most skilled S-Class heroes by far, but he doesn't really have like that next level power that like Garo has right now. Kind of saw the difference when like he was landing a shot on Bang and when Bang was landing a shot on him, you know what I mean? Number 6, Drive Knight. Now this is mainly speculation, and if One Piece YouTubers can put Dragon as number 1 in their lists despite him not really ever doing anything, then I could put Drive Knight at number 6 just off of speculation and some actual feats we've seen from him. It mainly comes down to me believing that he is the Mad Cyborg, so that means he's going to be a pretty big deal by the time he gets around to fighting and showing his full potential, which he hasn't shown yet because his power-ups go off of shogi pieces, right? And according to said pieces, he should have like one more mode left that represents like the peak of his power. It will be called like King or something. And that's probably what we'll see when he's like fully revealed as the Mad Cyborg. Number 5, Flashy Flash. If it wasn't for the other character ranked ahead of him, I'd say that he has had the highest rise in his stock this year, actually just recently, because this is probably mainly recency bias, why I'm just for sure putting him over Drive Knight, at least right now. And that's because he went into that triple threat match with like Garo and Platinum S. Like I said, it's making me rethink what High Dragon is, what Above Dragon is. Like, I just don't know right now, but I do know that Flashy Flash should be in the top 5 of the S-Class, at least according to Power. Number 4, Metal Knight. He hasn't really done much lately either, and by lately I mean like the last 2 years. So anything that I've already said about him isn't really gonna change much. So please check out my Metal Knight video that I made like 2 years ago. I think my opinion is pretty much the same, and it's that he's heavily implied to be, you know, rightfully in the top 4 of the S-Class, I'll say. Number 3, Tatsumaki. This is where she should be. mean, if you haven't been reading the latest arc in One Punch Man, you should go back and check it out. She has some incredible sequences and feats of power. Number 2, Blast. This was the guy that I was talking about having a higher stock. This is the guy that I was talking about having a higher rise in his stock than Flashy Flash, because this was the year when we finally got the reveal of Blast in the manga. And that reveal was kind of like the full main reveal, because we didn't even get that far with him in the webcomic. And now that we saw what he's capable of, it's totally warranted that he is number 1 in the S-Class, like we all assumed beforehand. I mean, we were all pretty much putting Blast at number 1 on our list years before we knew that he was even wearing sunglasses. But to be honest, it's just that one feat against Flashy Flash we just hyped up and have number 5 on this list. He essentially defeated him via fear. And usually the wolves and the tigers are the ones being defeated by fear, not the fringe above dragons. Then number 1, King, because why not? Joseph B asks, since one stated that the monster arc would have been different if Metal Bat was there, do you think this would involve Garo getting captured at the end of the arc and maybe be put in some sort of Suicide Squad-like program? I'm not sure why that would happen, Joseph, especially since the story hasn't gone down that route in the webcomic. Is it possible? On the off chance, sure. I just don't think it's likely. But as for Metal Bat changing the war here, well, he hasn't really changed much, aside from like stopping a couple Black Gas and then maybe stopping the last Black Ass threat. Since it happened off panel, I'm assuming he survived that. But like I talked about in the beginning of the video, I think Metal Bat might show some serious potential in his final fight of this arc against Awakened Garo when he ultimately gets, destroyed or gets passed out in a very surprising competitive performance maybe. Jeffrey L asks, what do you think these scars on Gearspur's head represent? Could it mean he is a traitor? So you bring up a great point about Gearspur's scars here, something I completely forgot about. And I don't think it means that he's a traitor. I more so think that maybe he was experimented on like Tatsumaki. I mean, there's an age discrepancy in them, or at least an implied one, but I'm assuming that there had to be maybe more than one of those Esper lab factory places, or they picked up shop and opened up a new one, or it's all connected to one place, because the Esper stuff is getting more explored now in the webcomic, kinda. So I'm assuming it's gonna get explored way more in the manga, and Gearspur will be involved in that storyline for sure. Sean H asks, are you a Halo fan, or have you ever played any of them? And if so, have you played Infinite yet? I was a Halo fan. Like when I was a little kid, I played 1 through 3, just like everyone else, but I eventually got out of it. But I did see Infinite lately, and it looks amazing. But I just have that old excuse of I just don't have the time, and also I'm a little afraid of putting energy into that right now because I might get sucked into it. Then I start procrastinating and neglecting my responsibilities and the other things that I should be doing because I'm just thinking about playing Halo and having so much fun with it and everything. Right now I've been able to strike like a nice balance between work and play. Natedawg asks, do you think Deku is going to take Aizawa's quirk and then maybe he could utilize it in a special way using his smoke quirk so that only he could see his opponent and they couldn't see him? That's an amazing strategy actually, but I don't think Izuku's going to have to rely on something that rudimentary, because I do think not only is Izuku going to get Aizawa's quirk, but he's going to get all quirks eventually. I'm going to make a video about it within the next 2 weeks hopefully, but I think that's where the series is headed, with Izuku himself becoming the quirk singularity, if that makes sense. Delamante asks, if you had to choose between watching Crawford versus Spence or Izzy versus Whitaker 2, what would you rather see? Crawford versus Errol Spence? That is like a once in a lifetime fight between, clearly the two best guys in the class. And, Izzy versus Whitaker is kind of the same deal, but I just think Izzy is a little too far ahead of Whitaker at this point. As for where Crawford versus Spence, we don't know right now, so for sure, I would love to see them go against each other. Ferrari asks, what do you think would happen if Bang and Bomb fought Garo at the same time? So like you said, they probably still wouldn't win, but yeah, probably would have did more damage because we saw Bomb go down pretty fast. It happened when he just grazed Bang. So it was kind of just a matter of time before they were to go down from taking enough strikes. Both of them were more or less kind of more skilled than his feral version, but they lacked the serious power that he had. Daddy Adam asks, do you have any comfort character? If yes, who? If no, why? Mine is Albedo from Genshin, and Atem and Yusei. So I don't have any like comfort characters, I'd say, but I have more so like comfort episodes or like comfort arcs, things like that. I mean, I do have favorite characters and characters that I certainly like seeing. I more so just watch like the episode itself for that. Geruda asks, do you think that Bakugo will continue to scale up alongside Deku by maybe getting an additional hacks quirk or borrowing All for One and getting some residual power up from him? So I do think that maybe for the next couple chapters or, you know, however long it takes to get into the nitty gritty of the arc, Bakugo will be somewhat alongside Izuku, but eventually Izuku is going to just blow past everybody with the insane power creep that he's going to get in like the final, you know, sequences of this arc. It is possible that Bakugo might get All for One like he did in the second movie, but if he does, it'll only be temporary like before as well. PandatheMan asks, with all of the changes to the story in the manga, not all panels look the same as in the webcomics. Some have been removed entirely for now. Are there any panels did you or hope are not omitted / changed? So to be honest, right now, no. The one that I didn't want to be removed or changed was like the original Abandonment Bang sequence. And, you know, it wasn't too bad in the manga, but of course it was an entirely different beast in the webcomic. But after that, there's nothing really that I'm too keen on, or just anything that I don't think One and Murata are going to adapt / make better anyway, if that makes sense. That's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Once again, I want to thank all of my patrons for continuing to support me. Thank you so much, guys. And if you would like to be next week's Q&A, simply check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well and like the video. Have a great day. See you next one.